What are you doing to fix the problem? Because now the solution is in what you're doing. What are you doing to fix the problem? Not just sitting there and saying, this is baby fat. I did not have this. I was wearing dresses size 8. When I got pregnant, now I'm size 14. No, when you got pregnant, you were size 8. Then you started eating everything and now started using the pregnancy to defend it. Please don't do that. Now you see, a blighted ovum is basically you had a fertilized egg, but when it implanted, it did not grow to give you an embryo. Okay, and sometimes the weird part is you can get it being reabsorbed into the uterus. That's the weird part about it. But hormonal imbalance, estrogen dominance is a serious problem in women. I keep on talking about estrogen dominance in women, and you people keep on ignoring. You people feed a lot of bad foods that actually feed estrogen. You eat genetically modified foods. You eat wheat products. Use hormonal contraceptives. Use skin products that have phthalates. Use the non-sticky pans. You don't even enjoy the sun. You are obese and overweight, whether fat from inside or from outside. So basically, everything here is just getting you to high insulin levels and high estrogen levels. And now every symptom that you're experiencing, all these things that you're experiencing during a pregnancy and even reproductive health in women, is basically your high estrogen levels. So if you fix the estrogen levels, you're safe. You're safe. And on that level, on that point, let me talk about fasting. Because pregnant women will tell you, I will not fast because I am pregnant. Listen, please, there is no relationship between that. You can actually fast when you're pregnant. There are types of fasting. You don't need to push a 48-hour fast or a 72-hour fast. There are different types of fasting. We have one, the intermittent fasts. We even have the time-restricted eating. And then we have the prolonged fast. A pregnant woman can do a 1 meal a day comfortably. Just remember this, the child is not feeding on what you're taking in your stomach. The child is feeding on nutrients that are present in your system, in your blood. So therefore, feed healthy foods and your blood will be rich with foods, oxygen, nutrients that the baby requires as they grow, the fetus or the embryo. So yes, a pregnant woman can fast. I told you when you're in the progesterone phase, the ovulation phase, that's when you cannot push a prolonged fast. And of course, during pregnancy, your progesterone levels are going up for you to maintain the pregnancy. But also understand this, that there are 7 hormones that a pregnant woman produces. 7. It's not always about the progesterone alone. There are 7 other hormones. And your body is not stupid. There is no way your body knows that there's a fetus here. It has to take care of it. And then when you fast, the fetus will die. It's not making sense. Doesn't make sense. The body will still burn fat to give you glucose and give you the nutrients that the baby will require. The body will turn to the proteins, the glycogen in the liver, break it down to give you glucose. So there's no way you'll have zero nutrients for the baby just because you fasted as a pregnant woman. What if there was a natural calamity? Now there are floods. You want to tell me those pregnant women who did not find food for 2 days, they died, their babies died in the stomach? They didn't, because they have stored glucose in the fat cells. What causes cerebral palsy on birth, yet through scans, I think that is scans, not scabs, through scans showing that the fetus was okay. Now, you cannot always rely on those things to show you that the fetus is okay. That is the reality. But again, there is not, everything has a cause. Cerebral palsy is one of the conditions that actually comes because of what you've just been feeding in pregnancy. There's nothing that doesn't have a cause. Could be drugs, could be chemicals, but 85% of it is dietary. Simply dietary. And you'll realize that most women who are asking these conditions have seen them or have experienced them. But the weird part is when you talk to your doctor about these things, they never mention about dietary modifications. Look at the same thing that is being asked here, the autism. Of course, there are mineral deficiencies that happen, like zinc and magnesium. Those are very, very essential minerals in a pregnancy. But these are minerals that are rich in pumpkin seeds, they are rich in avocados, they are rich in eggs. So look at the diets that pregnant women are eating. Now, if you want to address these things easily, you can simply look at what you've been eating during pregnancy. And let's be honest with each other. Look at what pregnant women are eating during pregnancy. What are they eating? They're eating food that don't have nutrients. We know that. So it's not like I'm ignoring your questions. I'm just trying to show you that you are ignoring me. I'm telling you what is causing all these problems in pregnancy, but you're ignoring. You're thinking that there's something that will come from the skies to cause your child a problem. It will not. It's coming from what you're eating. So if you're asking me about autism, you're asking me about cerebral palsy, you're asking me about congenital issues in babies, unless it is physical trauma during birth, everything is nutrient deficiencies in pregnancy. So let's be honest. Let's just be honest. Let's not lie to ourselves like there's this condition that will come from the air and that this condition will come from somewhere. It doesn't. It comes from what you've been eating. And as a pregnant woman, why don't you start eating healthy? That if there's carbohydrates that you have to consume, let them be the complex and whole carbohydrates that are rich in fiber, but they don't cause you a spike in insulin. Why don't we eat animal proteins that are fatty, that have fats, which is basically cholesterol, that have essential minerals, that have iron? Why don't we eat organ meats that have all the essential minerals that we need? The liver, the eggs, the fish, the chicken plus the skin. Why don't we eat the omena to give us iron? Why don't we eat the spinach? And they will tell you to stop eating the spinach because it will cause you kidney stones, but they'll never tell you to stop eating the calcium supplements, the ones that they give you during a pregnancy. Look at that. They tell you to stop eating meat and red meat and all this, but they give you calcium supplements. Don't eat eggs. Eggs are rich in cholesterol, but they give you calcium supplements. Why are they doing that? They know what they are doing. They tell you don't eat red meat because red meat will cause you problems. Don't eat this, don't eat that. But then they give you iron supplements to get the iron. Where are you getting iron from? Nobody's going to talk to you about how to eat omena. The supplements in pregnancy. Number one is Pregnacare. Have you ever read those supplements? All of you are quick to tell me Pregnacare, Overcare, and all these fertility supplements. Have you ever taken a chance to read the ingredients in that supplement that you're using for pregnancy and for ovulation? Have you? Just recent is when you're realizing that calcium supplements are actually calcium carbonate, which is equivalent to chalk. Just today is when you're realizing, oh, kumbe the body cannot assimilate folic acid, and I can still get folate from beef, from green leafy vegetables, from beans, from avocados, from the eggs and the yolks. Just now is when you're realizing that. Have you ever taken a chance to read the ingredients, the chemicals that are present in that substance? Have you? Or you just take drugs because the doctor says take one supplement, take one tablet every morning and evening for the next 4 months and come back after that 4 months, you get another cycle. Have you ever read the ingredients in those things? So as I told you, first problem or first scam is basically the folic acid one, because most adult women don't have, 65% of them and above, don't have the enzyme that actually breaks down or metabolizes folic acid to active compound of folate. And number two, you don't need to take them after 28 days of a pregnancy because it only works effectively 28 days of the pregnancy. And I've also told you, if you want to use them and you have benefit of doubt, you've given them benefit of doubt, simply start using them 4 weeks before you get pregnant. So when you start planning of a pregnancy, simply start using them. Iron supplements, another one. Now you cannot absorb iron or even that calcium without having a concentrated stomach acid. You need a concentrated stomach acid for you to absorb iron. Therefore, start by fixing the gut. Start by taking salt and water. Start by taking apple cider vinegar. Start by fasting so that you concentrate stomach acid. And when you eat that omena, when you eat that spinach, when you drink that bone broth, you will absorb the calcium, you will absorb the iron from these foods easily. But before you fix your gut, even if you take a whole bottle of a hematinic agent, you're wasting time. Another one is vitamin D supplements. Why are you taking vitamin D supplements when vitamin D comes from cholesterol? Why don't you eat eggs? Why don't you eat fatty meats? Why don't you change from seed oils to saturated fats, the animal fats? And then when you accumulate cholesterol on your skin, why don't you go out and enjoy the sun so that the sun hits your skin and activates this cholesterol to form active vitamin D? Do you really need rocket science? Do you really need a tablet or a supplement for vitamin D when you have natural vitamin D in you? You simply need the sun to activate it. Do you? So why would you take calcium supplements when you can take bone broth and eggs and green leafy vegetables? Why would you take iron supplements when you can take omena, you can take fish, you can enjoy beetroot, you can enjoy green leafy vegetables, you can enjoy the liver? And then you can fix your gut by fasting and drinking water that has salt. Why do you need folic acid tablets when folate is active in the egg yolks, is in the liver? Natural form of vitamin B9, the folate. Why would you now take the supplements from the pharmaceutical industries and the labs? Why? Do you see how it's related? So simply eat healthy food. So these are the foods for the, just a nutshell, foods for the pregnant. Number one, all complex carbohydrates, enjoy them. The sweet potatoes, the arrowroots, the green bananas, the butternuts, the pumpkins, and plus the skin, also plus the seeds. Then the beans, very rich in folate. Those should be your complex carbohydrates. Combine this with all animal protein. I'm saying animal protein because most of those things that you think are plant proteins are actually carbohydrates. So do the animal proteins, do the beef, do the goat meat, the sheep meat, do rabbit meats, do chicken plus the skin, do the fish, fresh fish, do the omena, aka sardines, do the liver and organ meats, do the bone broth, ile supu ya mifupa. Go and take those bones and boil them and enjoy the soup. Do all types of vegetables, both green leafy vegetables and the cruciferous vegetables. And then use saturated fats, the animal fats and coconut oil for your cooking. But most importantly, drop the inflammatory foods. Start by dropping them and then now start eating healthy. And then start fasting. You need 2 meals a day, simply. You don't need more than that. 2 meals a day are enough. And then tell us about the cravings when you start doing that. Tell us about the diabetes in pregnancy when you start doing that. And be consistent. Just 6 months of consistency and see what happens to you. Tell us about the complications of pregnancies. If you still do this consistently, tell us about that. Tell us about adding weight. Tell us about baby fat when you now deliver naturally. And now you still continue with these dietary modifications and fasting. Tell us about the baby fat. The problem with you ladies is you are so lazy. You want to sit back and find everything to blame but you. So you want to sit back and blame the pregnancy. It's called the X pregnancy. It's now an X pregnancy. Why even blaming the pregnancy for the fat that you have now? Okay, you accumulated the fat during pregnancy because of what you were eating that moment in time, but now it's an X pregnancy. So why are you still blaming the X pregnancy? Why? What are you doing to fix the problem? Because now the solution is in what you're doing. What are you doing to fix the problem? Not just sitting there and saying, this is baby fat. I did not have this. I was wearing dresses size 8. When I got pregnant, now I'm size 14. No, when you got pregnant, you were size 8. Then you started eating everything and now started using the pregnancy to defend it. Please don't do that. Let us deal with those things that are actually necessary in pregnancy. If you get preeclampsia, simply know that it's a sugar problem. And also know this, that is not casted on a stone. Just because this pregnancy you had preeclampsia, the next one will be that way. Look at what is happening. Your gyna is quick to write drugs for you, but is not quick to advise you about diets. And you keep on saying, my gyna, my gyna, my gyna. You've even personalized the gyna. My gyna said, my gyna said. So if somebody tells you something, let me ask my gyna. Go ahead and ask your gyna and keep on taking the drugs. And some of you, if you see somebody who is not even a doctor, at least for me, I can defend myself, but somebody who is not even a doctor trying to tell you something because they've learned it from somewhere, you're so fast to say, no, let me consult my guy now. It's okay. There's no problem. Consult, but at least fix what you have to fix, okay? Because in mainstream medicine and pharmacy, only 15 to 20% is nutrition. And in mainstream nutrition, 80% is nonsense. It's just them regurgitating the syllabus from the big pharma and from the food industries. So the earlier you learn these things, the better for you. The earlier you take a responsibility for yourself, the better for you. Start by believing that pregnancy is a privilege. It's a good position to be in as a woman. It's not a weakness. You don't always want people to treat you special because of a pregnancy. It's not a special thing. It's actually your role to get pregnant and to give birth. You are special because you're bringing in a new generation, not because you're pregnant, no. You're not a weak woman. You're actually one of the strongest generations. So when you have that in your mind, everything else follows the mind. But when you believe you're weak from the head, everything else goes south for you. When you believe pregnancy comes with the cravings will come.